A huge ship is making its way through space. They found the source of the signal in space. It's a man with what seems to be 2 tattoos of circles, one on his chest and one on his left shoulder. You seeing what I'm seeing? How is he not dead? No, how the hell is he emitting this insane amount of energy? The captain walks in and is shocked at the sight of a man floating in space radiating this much energy. Bring him in, and let the docs do their work. The crew is a little anxious, as they have never encountered this kind of situation before, so they handle the spaceman with extreme caution and care. They wear the latest spacesuits that can handle being dropped into stars and come out unscathed. But the moment they come closer to the man, their suits start to deteriorate. Hurry, bring him into the isolation space. We have seconds. Hurry! They rush to bring the man into a special room that is capable of isolating space from reality. Once in there, the doctors and scientists probed him with their tools. I think our instruments need to be recalibrated. Why? What are you seeing? Based on the numbers, the energy patterns coming from within his body are similar to an entire dimension, as if swallowed one of the 7. Huh? That makes no sense. Run it again. And you need to stop drinking. I told you that morning shots are not a real thing. After re-examining him, they found that he had an entire universe in his body, and that energy was seeping out as he breathed. They decided to cover his mouth with a mask to prevent radiation from killing everyone on board. They then placed him in a hibernation pod. Demo is sleeping in the hibernation pod hooked up to several wires. He is stuck in what feels like an endless dream of darkness. Within the dreams, he hears a voice. You ready? Then let's go. Demo's eyes pop open. In the cockpit of the ship, the alarm goes off. Report! An explosion in the sleep sector. It seems to be where the body is. Show me. The explosion destroyed all the cameras. Then show me 1 minute before. A screen pops up and the crew sees the moment Demo opens his eyes. The moment his eyes open up, a blast of energy radiates from his body, and right after the screen goes black. Everyone stood in silence waiting for the captain to make a decision. Separate the sleep sector and send it to a different dimension. But sir, that is against regulations. We could all be... It's us or him. Send him away. The crew in charge of the interdimensional gates bow their head in silence as they know that their captain is right. They have no idea what the body they found in space is capable of. All they know is that it was the only survivor. Sir, where to? The captain grins as he answers. Send him to Soth. They wanted him to begin with. Demo stands in the middle of the destroyed room. Confused and dazed, the loud alarms agitate him. He touches the mask on his face and instinctively notices it helps him to control his breathing. The bodies of several scientists are scattered around the room. He looks at them in silence. His face twists with emotion as he lowers his head. He whispers to himself, I'm sorry. He balls his hands into fists, frustrated with himself. The section Demo is in detaches from the main ship. Demo, unsteady on his feet, falls to the ground and looks out the window. He sees a giant gate opening up in space. The detached section turns on its engines and goes into the gate, sending Demo to the Soth dimension. The captain looks at Demo being sent away. Send a message to the 2 Ultimates and the Supreme. We need to get ready for war. And send word to Closure that we opened a gate. This ain't our dimension, but we can't leave a gate open. This whole dimension would be overrun with darkies. The captain stares at gate. Sir, this dimension is already empty. What would it matter if we left the gate open? The resources needed to close a gate are immense, and to do it in a whole different dimension that is empty, I don't think our House of Rules will go for it. What they do or don't go for doesn't matter. I just have to tell them. If they want this entire dimension to be filled with those monsters, and give them the chance to feed on the matter that's left in here, that's their decision. But I doubt they will. If the darkies are allowed to eat all this matter, they might grow strong enough to open a gate on their own. Even if the House says no, The two ultimates will never let that happen. So send the message and set course for the true portal. We are going. I have one hell of a report to write. The detached room flies through the gate. The damage done by Demo as he awoke is amplified by the forces outside of the ship. Small cracks in the walls turn into giant rifts until the room comes apart entirely. Demo is now flung through the portal without any protection. The forces put so much strain on him that he passes out. Every gate is a connection between two dimensions. When you travel through the gate, you do so at an insanely high speed, so the naked eye would never be able to catch it. But each side of the dimension creates its own tunnel, and the two dimensions connect these tunnels into one, making it a valid gate. What remains unseen to most is that this connection isn't perfect. There is actually a slight amount of space between the two tunnels. As Demo passes through the gate, the tattoo on his chest starts to pulsate ever so slowly, as if it recognizes that it's in a gate. As it inches closer to the connecting gate, the pulsations become stronger. For a fraction of a second, Demo passes through that small space in between the tunnels. But it was right then that the tattoo on his chest sent out what can only be described as a beacon of energy. The space in between tunnels is what some scientists have called the dark kinesthesia. It was long believed to be empty, until they found a very violent species lives in that space. And it is that species that felt the beacon sent out by Demo. But just as fast as it came, it disappeared. But it was enough to alert them that a gate was open. Demo, unaware of all this, travels into the next tunnel, and after a few moments is spit out of the tunnel at an extremely high speed, followed by the debris of his would-be ship. The gate opened up near a planet. It was close enough for Demo and the debris to be sucked in by its gravitational pull. While the debris burned to nothingness, Demo was able to withstand his fiery entry into the planet numbers. As Demo makes his way, the opening of a new gate sends shockwaves through the dimension. In a distant section of the Soth dimension, their main base of operations receives the signal sent out by the gate. All the alarms go off. A gate opened up. The leader of the unit stands in shock for a moment. How? Why? Where? Sector 12 AC. What is the connection? It seems to be Chenevere, sir. That's not possible. It's been empty for over 10 years. Run it again. I just did, sir. And it's Chenevere. The leader, baffled by this mystery, stands in silence. Sir, contact Stitches and have them go and close the gate. Then send word to the Prime Perfect that a gate has opened, and find out who the hell opened that gate. A senior staff and new staff member make their way to the Prime Perfect's room. Stitches is more than capable of closing the gate, and our soldiers can handle anything that comes out of it. I don't understand why we have to send the strongest fighter in the universe to help close the gate. The old man looks at the young one as they walk. What are you, like 5? I can't believe you knew babies. Clearly this was before your time, and no one took the time to tell your dumb ass this, because they probably thought you wouldn't make it this far. It was about 30 years ago, when a gate opened and Stitches went to close it. They also thought they were more than capable, but arrogance brings sloppiness. And they didn't close the gate completely. They left, and that gate was forced back open by those damn monsters. By the time we realized the gate was open again, and that those beasts made their way through, we lost over 6 planets. Billions of innocent lives were lost. It was a complete massacre. And after that, the rule of having the Prime Perfect double-check everything was set in place. They never taught us that. What fool would tell you something they are ashamed of if they can just hide it and act like it never happened when they arrive at the door? They arrive. It's a beautiful sunny morning. The hiking path is empty as Ten makes his way up. Remind me again why I am doing this instead of just staying home. The digital watch pad on the back of his hand lights up. Well, based on your current budget and debt, this is about all you can afford. I know that, but why make me go outside? I finally took a day off, and you won't even let me rest. Research shows that a walk in nature has calming effects. Plus, this is the same place you used to visit when you were young. Memories of happy times and the nice view of the forest surrounded by nature is what's best for you right now. I don't remember it being this steep, though. 10 eventually makes his way to the top, his city behind him and a beautiful sea of trees in front of him. As the clouds clear a bit, the sun shines through and hits him right in the face. The sudden touch of warmth triggers a memory 10 hadn't thought about for a while. He and his mother both stand at the very same peak looking down at the forest. They both look at a flock of birds flying through the sky making their way. His mother's face blocks the sun, but her smile is more radiant than any sun could ever be. She looks at him with her smile and tells him she loves him. She then lowers down to give him a kiss on the forehead. The moment her head lowered, the sun was able to reach him and shone right on his face. His mother's kiss and the sun's embrace were for 10 a moment of love he somehow forgot. Tears start to flow down his cheek. What's wrong? 10 lowers his head and wipes the tears. Nothing. I just remembered me and Mom being here. She loved this place. It's nothing. Suddenly the sky changes colors. Several streaks of light fill the sky, as if a set of falling meteors tried to make their way to this planet. 10 is mesmerized by the beauty of the chaos in front of him. Each streak seems to burn out before it can touch the ground. But then one single streak seems to be headed for the forest. It doesn't burn out and actually hits the ground, creating a massive crater. 10 stands in shock. Time to go home. 10 quickly turns around as if he didn't see anything. 10. No, wait. Wait. What? Did you not just see what I saw? Nah, clearly an alien race just landed to take all our blood and brain juice. They ain't getting my juice. I'm out. 10. Wait. If that is a meteor, it will count as a precious metal. If you sell it, you can clear your debt and have enough money to retire immediately. 10 stops. Think about it. 10, no more boss nagging you. But it could be a crazy alien that will eat me. Or it could mean no more days that are just like the ones before it. It could be a new viral disease that will eat my skin and put me into a state of eternal pain as it kills and brings me back eternally. Or it could be freedom from bills that never end. This pattern continued for about 10 minutes, but eventually, Mai was able to make 10 see the logic in her reasoning. Okay, I'll go, but I'm going to need to prepare myself first. 10 looks around him until a big rock with sharp edges catches his eyes. He walks towards it and grabs the rock from the ground. He closes his eyes and imagines a world of numbers with the rock at its center. The numbers start swirling around the rock, and 10 then starts a slow, rhythmic chant that increases gradually in speed. X2, DX. Yo, Dia, 102. R2, Ardard, 112, Pyro, Uedu, 1/2, square root of pi. The rock in his hand starts to glow blue with a celestial radiance. The rock starts to disintegrate as its very molecules become undone. The particles start to float in a rhythmical pattern above his hand. They then eventually start going back to their original position. But they are then reassembled into a broadsword. Okay, now I'm ready to go. No, wait, I'm going to need a shield too. 10 grabs another rock and creates a shield using the same process. He looks down at the shield and sword with a frown on his face. 10, you ready? 10 looks around the beautiful field he is on and starts grabbing all the rocks and bushes he can find. Just give me a few seconds. I just want to be ready. After 30 minutes of 10 exhausting himself and completely ruining the beautiful field he was standing in, he nods to himself. Now I'm ready. 10, you are wearing 17 different armor. You have 9 different kinds of weapons on you, including a crossbow. I'm pretty sure you don't know how to use. You made 62 clay golems that can only walk and hit stuff, and you're wearing a helmet with a metal cap under a steel hat. What's your point? Take one step. 10 takes a step, and the weight of his gear brings him down to the ground, unable to stand back up. 10, we have to go down the hill into the forest. How in the world are those golems going to follow you? Well, You know we can just walk. 10, that would take forever. And by the time we get there, someone else will have definitely come to take whatever is there away. You should condense your armor into one, strengthen your sword with the other weapons, then use the rest to make a hovercraft so we can go down there in the quickest and safest way. With a bitter face, he admits Maya's right. Okay, but I am not capable of doing all of that and you know it. I will help you. But this isn't an emergency. Based on your current vital signs, your financial situation, and the fact that you seem listless throughout most days, I am capable of justifying this as an emergency to solve your problems. I don't really know how I feel about that answer. Let's begin. The pad on Ten's hand starts to glow even more. Slowly it starts taking over his entire hand, his arm, and then eventually his whole body. Ten's eyes glow as he starts a chant far above his level. Del operator P's equals partial squared P's over partial X squared plus partial squared P's over partial Y squared plus partial squared P's over partial Z squared key. 2, 1, R2 synth, R2 P's R, Thi, synth P T, 1 synth, 2 P, Phi, Das. The armor is reconstructed, his weapons are recombined, and the golems are reshaped. 10 stands in a very beautiful armor, with a sword that could have been made for a god and a hovercraft that looks like it could take him anywhere in the world. 10 smiles as he looks at his gear. He whispers, "Thank you." Mai hears him but doesn't reply. 10 gets on the hovercraft and makes his way to the center of the big crater. From a distance, he can see a shape at the center. The closer he gets, the more he can make out the shape. Once close enough to actually see Demo, he stops the hovercraft. "Yeah, I'm done. I'm going home." 10, wait! He might need our help. This guy just fell from outer space, literally flew through the fires of hell, survived what I think was his spaceship couldn't, and you think he needs my help? Clearly he is unconscious, and he might be a very high-level golem we could sell. Just get close enough to see if it's breathing or if it's an inanimate object. 10 looks at his gear and understands the risks Mai took to help him make them. He raises his head and slowly, very slowly, walks towards Demo. Once he reaches Demo, he sees that he is breathing. Demo looks peaceful, but alive. 10 decides to poke him with his sword to see if he can wake Demo up. The moment the sword hits Demo's skin, his eyes pop open and a blast of energy radiates from his body. The blast hits 10 and he is flung back with amazing force. His armor was completely destroyed, his sword shattered and his hovercraft in pieces. He hits the ground and lies there. Demo awakens and looks around to see what happened and where he is. He sees 10 on the ground and lowers his head again, with sorrow on his face. "I'm sorry." A computerized voice bellows through the hallway of a dark spaceship. Arriving at our destination. Near the gate that was forced open by Demo's arrival, a horizontally lined crack in space appears. The crack seems to divide itself into several layers that are stacked on each other as if time and space have been compressed like a paper folded upon itself. The layers of cracks in space spread themselves out until at its core, a portal can be seen, and from that portal, the dark spaceship with the word Stitches on it emerges. Once the ship has safely emerged from the portal, the layers are folded back into a single line, and the line then collapses in on itself and disappears. The ship is facing the interdimensional gate. Then a door opens up on the spaceship and 7 figures dressed in all black spacesuits emerge. They carry with them 6 huge black rectangles and a single red one that are almost the same size as the men themselves. They bring the big rectangles in front of them and each one puts a single hand on their rectangle. 6 of the figures start a mathematical chant. The big rectangles start to glow, but unlike with 10, these rectangles are surrounded by a wide array of numbers and equations as well. The rectangles start to disintegrate and mix with the numbers that surround them, and then recombine. 2 of the rectangles turned into huge needles, and the other 4 turned into black ropes with several big knots on them. Once the 6 were finished, the figure with the red rectangle placed his hand on his shape and started his chant. His rectangle turned into what can only be described as a huge red demon, with wings that seem to hide millions of stars. The figure with the red demon raises his hand. Let's begin. The four with the ropes take their sides next to the two with the needles and push their rope through the holes in the needle. The two with the needles then make their way to opposite sides of the gate. They gently control the needles with their hands. They point the tip of the needle towards the gate and then slightly pull the needle back like an arrow on a bow. With the force of a star exploding, they throw their needles through the gate. The hole created gets plugged up by one of the knots on the rope. The two needle wielders continue this process until the entire gate is covered with the rope and each side is riddled with knots. Once completed, the giant red demon glides over to the gate and places its hands on the two top knots that are connected to each other. A blinding light spawned from its hands, and the explosion that followed swallowed up not only the knots, but all seemed to close the gate in between the two knots he consumed. The demon proceeds to do this for the next two knots, and those after it. Everything seems to be going according to plan. An alarm goes off in the helmets of the Stitches crew as a storm of space debris is about to hit them. All 7 of them go into their pockets and take out a small cube. They then quickly chant to transform the cube into a shield capable of withstanding the storm. The crew and the ship survive without a hitch, but one of the pieces of debris hits the demon's hand as it's about to consume another knot, slightly knocking the hand to the side a little. The red demon smiles as he followed his orders perfectly, but this small thing could usher in chaos. He quickly stopped smiling so as to not warn the crew something happened. After the debris passed, the shields went down and the focus was back on the gate. After a while, the gate closes as the demon touches the last 2 knots. The needles and ropes as well as the demon disintegrate and return to their rectangle forms again. The Stitches crew looked at the space where the gate used to be, as if to do a final check, and then turned around, went back into their ship, and flew away. Tranquility fell back over the space above the planet. Back on the planet, Demo stands with a sorrowful face as he again looks at Ten's body on the ground. He turns away from Ten as if turning his back on him would allow him to ignore what he has just done, as he is about to walk away. Ah, yo, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, yo, what the? Demo turns back with his eyes open, filled with hope. He sees Ten on the ground, wriggling and turning and screaming in pain. He runs to Ten with a huge smile on his face and crouches next to him. You're okay. No, I'm not okay. That hurt. Who the hell wakes up and blasts everybody? What's wrong with you? Demo just smiles as he is happy that Ten isn't dead. The fact that Demo is smiling creeps Ten out as if he is enjoying the pain. Ten is in. Why are you smiling? I thought you were dead. Because you tried to kill me. No, that's not what I wanted to do. But last time I woke up. Ten, still in pain, looks at Demo suspiciously. Who are you? I don't know, but I think my name was Demo. What's your name? Ten. Demo stands back up and extends his hand to Ten to help him get back up. Nice to meet you, Ten. Ten looks at Demo sideways, unsure if he should trust him or not. But except for the blast, Demo doesn't seem or feel dangerous. He takes his hand. Yeah, you too, I guess. As Ten stands in front of Demo, he does a quick head-to-toe check and feels obligated to ask. So, this whole naked thing, is that a religious something or just a fashion statement? Demo looks down at his naked body and back up to Ten. Neither. Why don't you just make some clothes? I don't know how. Ten looks at him confused as if he just met someone who doesn't know that the world is round, but then quickly checks himself as he remembers that Demo came from out of space, so maybe they didn't teach him the basics. Ten looks around the crater and picks up some sand, some rocks, and some fallen leaves that are scattered here and there. He walks back to Demo and gives him a quick look over as if to get his measurements. He lowers his head and starts the math chant. The things in his hands start to glow and disintegrate into 1,000,000 small pieces. Demo looks at what is happening with his eyes wide open and filled with amazement. Ten raises his head and looks at Demo as he softly pushes the disintegrated pieces towards Demo. The million pieces cover Demo's body and then assemble to become a whole outfit, the hoodie of which has a 1 on the right sleeve and a 0 on the left sleeve. Ten smiles as it's a perfect fit. Demo looks at his outfit, touches the fabrics, and looks back at Ten with eyes like a kid who just found a magical lamp that grants wishes. Teach me. What? Teach me how to do that? Ten is a little startled because no one has ever asked him to teach them the basics you learn in elementary school. Well, it's pretty simple. Demo starts nodding his head as if he's about to receive a grand prize. So first you use the base of the Poincare conjecture, which is that every simply connected, closed 3-manifold is homeomorphic to the 3-sphere. Using that as the underlying theory, you then combine it with Fermat's last theorem, which obviously states that there are no 3 positive integers a, b, and c, that can satisfy the equation n bien cnan plus b nan xnan bien cn for any integer value of nnn greater than 2. 10 continues like this for a while. With each new sentence, Demo gets more and more confused as to what it all means. Each new sentence makes his head tilt a little to the right. By the end of the first minute, Demos's neck is almost at a 90-degree angle, at which point his eyes light up, as if his frustration triggered something. 10 feels a shiver run down his spine as if a predator just recognized him as food. 10 immediately stops explaining. Let's just say I used numbers magic. Demo turns his neck back. So I can't learn it? No, you could still learn it. There are 2 ways of doing this: the instinctual method or the theory method. I think you might be the instinctual type. Can you teach me it? Nah, I'm a theory type. Demo drops his shoulders in disappointment. So I can't get stronger. 10 looks at him with a certain amount of pity, as if he could sense how much Demo wanted to get stronger. If you want to get stronger, I know a gym that teaches martial arts and the instinctual method. It's a pretty famous gym, I've heard. Will I get stronger if I go there? I don't know, but I heard the Prime Perfect used to train there as well. Demo doesn't know who that is, or why that is an important point, but he might be able to get stronger, and that's all he needed to hear. Okay, let's go. The 2 start walking towards the city of numbers, where 10 lives and the gym is located. Demo and 10 make their way through the forest towards the city, 10 still worried and curious as to who Demo is can't help himself. So, who are you? I'm Demo, I already told you. Did you hit your head when you fell? No, I didn't. I'm asking where you're from. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I woke up not so long ago on a ship. Once I woke up, they ejected me, and it seems like they sent me over here. Who is they? I don't know. The only ones I really saw were the ones on the ground, and they had on these suits as if they were experimenting or something. 10 looks at Demo with his eyes open as if he just heard something really disturbing. He takes a few steps to the side to distance himself from Demo a bit more. Why were they experimenting on you? I don't know. I really don't remember anything from before I woke up. How come you survived that fall? Demo scratches his head as he looks down at his body. I don't know. Maybe my body is just strong like that. 10 can't fathom someone doesn't remember anything from their past. He looks at Demo with a side eye as they walk. Why did you ask me how to get stronger? Demo looks at 10 with a look that shows he is trying to remember, and the words are on the tip of his tongue. I just feel like I have to, as if I don't, something bad will happen. 10 looks at him concerned. Like what? I don't know, but it's like this voice in my head that keeps singing the same words over and over. Get stronger, get stronger, get stronger. You're hearing voices too? Demo, tired of the questions, decides to ask a few of his own. How come you were all alone in the forest today? 10's shoulders slump, his head goes down and his arms dangle from his body as he walks. His face filled with doom and gloom. Every bit of happiness had left him, it seemed. The fact that he will have to go back to work tomorrow hits him. The excitement of meeting Demo made him forget about his situation, but that one question pushed him right back into it, as if Demo just hit a button that almost shut him down. And then 10 releases a deep sigh. I hate work. It's so boring. You have no idea. 10 then starts mumbling to himself about how much he hates his job and his boss. Demo understands that he just asked something he shouldn't have, looks straight ahead, and doesn't say a word. The two walk in silence, oblivious to the fact that the gate that sent Demo here has been closed. Above the planet where the gate was, everything is still peaceful. But behind the current dimension, the beings that reside in the void gathered to where they felt the signal come from. They have experienced gates opening and closing before. They weren't expecting an open gate, as they get closed quickly after opening. But they were curious as to what that signal they felt was. A group of beings stand in silence looking around for a clue or hint, and then one of them notices it. A very minuscule remainder of a gate. It's an extremely small crack in space that wasn't completely closed. The rest of the group notices it as well, and they release what can only be described as a war cry. Each member of the group brings forth weapons: swords, axes, knives, cannons, beams, and more. They all start throwing everything they have at the tiny crack. Each attack seems to be useless to the naked eye, but they don't stop. They keep on attacking the crack because they know that each attack will enhance the crack no matter how small. So, it's only a matter of time before it opens. Back on the planet, Demo and 10 make it to the outskirts of the city, and Demo is amazed at what he sees as 10 smiles. Welcome to Number City. All the buildings in the city are shaped like numbers. From 0 to 9, some are Roman numerals, and some are in weird fluid shapes that seem somewhat out of place. Cars shaped like numbers pass in front of them, and even hovercrafts can be seen flying through the sky. The sound of a busy city fills the air, but a tense undertone comes with it as if danger is forever lurking. There was a big difference in air quality as well, between here and the forest. They walk into the city, and there on the corner stands a young lady who looks at Demo, and as their eyes meet, she walks over to him. "Want some glia?" Demo looks at her confused. "What's glia?" 10 hears their conversation and immediately steps in. No, he doesn't. He gets behind Demo and tries to push him forward so as to keep walking. But the moment he actually puts in the force needed, he feels an enormous amount of weight, as if he was trying to push a mountain forward. Demo looks back at him and smiles and then continues walking. "What is glia?" "It's a drug. It basically increases the electric currents in your brain and enhances all its function." "So it makes you smarter? Isn't that a good thing?" 10 lowers his head, but this time his energy is one of sadness as he answers. Smarter isn't always better, and it does more than just enhance smartness. Demo looks at him and again looks forward. After a while, the two see a big number 1 building with the symbol of a dragon holding an atom, and the letter 1. "We are almost there. This is where I can become stronger." 10 doesn't want to give Demo any false hope, and just looks up at the building as he answers. "This is where they will teach you about the instinctual method." The moment the two make it to the front door, inside the building, an old man raises his head with a smile. Interesting. Demo and 10 make their way into the gym. Through a glass door, they see several members sitting in a lotus pose meditating. The moment 10 and Demo open the door, all of the members open their eyes and turn their heads towards 10 and Demo. All of them look angry, as 10 and Demo disrupted their meditation. Demo looks calm and unfazed, but 10 isn't used to so much animosity and takes a step back. He has several pictures on the wall next to scrolls with motivational sayings. The pictures are of previous students who have either passed on or become famous in their own right. One of the members stands up and walks towards Demo and 10. He then raises his hand, and the other members then return to their meditation. Can I help you with something? 10 feels extremely awkward actually being in the famous gym and doesn't really know what to do. He goes to bow but stops midway and instead does a fist palm greeting. He then turns into a palm-to-palm greeting. The gym member chuckles as he gets that 10 is nervous. It's okay, you don't have to bow or anything. How can I help you? 10 stands up straight with a nervous smile on his face as he introduces Demo. He wants to join the gym. As the gym member switches his focus on Demo, 10 takes a step back. I have some things to so... Demo looks at 10, and with the biggest smile of gratitude on his face. Thank you. 10 nods and starts walking towards the door. He takes one look back at Demo, and then steps outside. Back inside, the gym member continues asking Demo some more introductory questions. What type are you, IT or TT? Demo looks confused as he answers. IT, TT? The member looks confused as well, as these are the standard abbreviations used. Demo not knowing them is what he would consider a red flag. But out of politeness, he feels he needs to explain. Instinctual type or theoretical? Oh yeah, well I didn't understand a word 10 was saying and he said I was likely instinctual, so IT. That comment clarified the fact that Demo wasn't from here. You have never learned about or practiced how to use higher reasoning. You mean using numbers magic, right? Then no. The gym member looks a bit startled because this is extremely uncommon. Even the poorest of households will have learned how to use higher reasoning. I'm very sorry, but the bare minimum needed to enter our gym is the ability to use higher RIA. Before he can finish his sentence, he is interrupted. No. An old man with a white beard and a bald head in an all-black, loose-fitting outfit comes from behind the doors, and the gym member immediately bows. Master? The old man is the master of the gym. His aura and body language show his confidence in his ability, and the respect of those around him make it clear he is strong. The old man walks up to Demo with a smile and stands in front of him and looks him up and down. We are here to teach people, and I don't remember making that rule that you have to be able to use HR. The gym member raises his head, and with doubt in his voice he speaks. But Master Leon? Leon raises his hand to silence the gym member. What's your name, young man? Demo. Leon gestures Demo to follow him. Come with me, Demo. I'll teach you how to use... What did you call it? Numbers magic. Demo and Leon walk up some stairs to a private room with a table in the middle of it. On the table, there is a rock. Leon gestures Demo to take a seat, and Demo does, and then Leon takes a seat on the opposite side. Demo, have you ever seen someone use numbers magic? Yes, I have. My friend 10 used it to make my clothes. Leon smiles gently. That's nice of him. So when you saw that, what did you think was happening? Demo looks up as if to visually recall the event. It looked like he turned leaves and stuff into something else using some kind of magic. Leon nods as it seems Demo got the gist of it. This world is a collection of facts and rules. These all come from the energy of life. If you know or understand the rules and facts, you will gain access to this energy. Demo nods. So the more I know and understand, the more access I get to the energy? Indeed. Simple, right? Demo nods again. Leon smiles as he knows he is about to complicate things a bit more and hopes Demo can follow along. He places his hand on the rock. The first rule is simple. Nothing comes from nothing. Demo looks confused. Leon recognizes it and quickly continues. It basically means that to make something, you have to use something. If you want to cook food, you need ingredients. Same thing applies here. Demo nods. Leon continues. Let's say I want to turn this rock into a diamond. There are two ways number magic is done. Theory or instinct. Theory means you know exactly what the rock is made of and how each part works together with the other parts, and they are interconnected. First, you would visualize the rock in your head and deconstruct it using math. Then you break it down into pure energy using the proper formulas, and then use the energy you created to turn it into a diamond using the right set of formulas and equations. Demo looks at him with sheer amazement. So, I would need to know what a rock is made of and what a diamond is made of. Leon smiles and nods. He then picks the rock up. Instinctual theory is a bit different. With this, you simply accept that it's a rock. You would then visualize it in your head, dive into the rock, and forcefully strike each connection and sever all the ties within the rock itself, forcing it to deconstruct like pulling on strings to tear a shirt apart. The rock in Leon's hand starts to glow and comes apart as if its molecules were struck so hard they came loose. The energy born from the rock swirls above Leon's hand. Demo looks on with the delight of a small child watching a magic show. Leon seems to enjoy Demo's enthusiasm. Now this is where things get tricky. Because you don't know exactly what a diamond is made of, you will have to fill in the blanks using your own imagination. The stronger and better your imagination is, the better the final result. Leon guides the energy in his hand along a path, and the energy starts to reassemble. Once the flow stops, there is a small flash of light, and there is an actual diamond on the table. Demo's eyes pop open. Wow. Leon smiles like an old man would seeing a kid learning something. Want to try turning this diamond back into a rock? Demo looks up with nothing but excitement as he almost screams, "Yeah, I do." Demo starts his training to learn how to use the powers of this universe. Meanwhile, Ten opens the door to his apartment, takes off his muddy shoes, and jumps onto his bed. "I can't believe I met an illegal alien today." He looks at his hand. I'm sorry. You risked helping me for nothing. I wasn't able to get a piece of a meteor or anything. I'm still in debt with no way out." His palm lights up as Mai is turned on. "That's okay. It was impossible to know what was out there. We took a chance. But at the very least, it seems like you've made a very powerful friend." Ten looks at the dresser beside his bed. The sight of the picture of him and his mother at the peak suddenly feels heavier than it used to. "You think?" Ten grabs the picture and looks at it a bit more attentively. "Perhaps I should go visit her tomorrow." Mai is slightly startled at that sudden statement. "Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It's been a long time since you've seen her." Ten looks at the picture with sadness, as the look in his eyes show how much pain it's causing him to simply look at the picture. Mai decides to be proactive and help Ten a bit more. "I'll call in sick at work so you can go during visiting hours tomorrow." "Thank you." Ten lays down on his bed with the picture on his chest. I wonder how she is doing. As his mind strays, his mother is sitting in an empty room in a rocking chair, peacefully rocking back and forth, with eyes completely devoid of any kind of life. Ten called in sick from work and has decided to go visit his mother instead. Before seeing her, he decided to buy her some flowers. As he comes out of the flower shop after buying a bouquet, a man and a woman in suits cross his path. They are talking about their jobs. "Yeah, I just started, so it's..." He can't hear the rest of the conversation because they are walking at a rather brisk pace. Ten stands still and watches the two people walk away from him. Seeing a man in a suit like that, talking about his job made Ten remember his father. In the memory, his father wore a suit similar to the one he just saw, and he took Ten to see a friend of his. He remembers the two men sitting in the living room at the dining table as Ten watched TV. Ten remembered parts of the conversation between his father and his friend. His father was just hired for a new job, and he seemed a bit nervous. "I'll be honest, I don't know if I can do this. I didn't lie to get the job, but you know." "Hey, it is what it is, man. Just do what you can. You'll figure it out." "Nah, man. This level of think tank is different. They gave me some stuff to read as like homework and..." Ten remembers looking back and seeing his father shake his head with a frowned look on his face as if to signal that it was extremely difficult. Ten's father's friend was smiling at his father's insecurity as he replied with a slightly amused tone of voice. You were always nervous before tests, but you were the smartest in our class for a reason. You got this. Nah, man, seriously. This stuff they got me reading and working on, I don't know. You haven't even started yet. Let it happen first and then worry about you being able or unable. For now, just be happy you got the job. You right. Ten's father then looks at Ten watching TV. Ten looks back at his father, who has a gentle smile on his face. You want some ice cream? Ten, excited at the prospect of ice cream, jumps up and answers a resounding yes. The two then left the friend's house hand in hand and went for ice cream. This was the end of the memory, and it was able to put a small smile on Ten's face. Ten turns and continues on his journey to see his mother. As he walks down the street, the sun is up high, and the sunlight blinds his eyes a little. And in a room in a gym, the sunlight comes through the window, as Demo is in the middle of a special training with Leon. Demo spent the night at the gym in a room that was made for special guests. Demo is now sitting at the table with Leon. His eyes are closed, and he is focusing on creating a visual image of a diamond. In his mind's eye, he can see a diamond floating in space. He hears Leon giving him instructions. Imagine going into the diamond. Then take a look around you and try to see all the small pieces in the diamond. Demo nods, and in his imagination, he goes into the diamond and visualizes the diamond being a collection of small pieces that stick together to make a diamond. Open your eyes. I don't know how strong the image is in your head, but you say you've got it down, right? Yes. Leon smiles as he picks up the diamond on the table and places it in Demo's hand. Okay, then let's check. Look at the diamond, focus on it, then close your eyes and keep the image of the diamond in your hand. Demo does as instructed. He can see a very big version of the diamond in his hand. Now erase your hand and keep only the diamond. Demo does as instructed and removes his hand from his imagination. The diamond is now once again floating in space. Leon looks at Demo as his eyes are closed, and Leon can sense how focused Demo is as he says, "Go in." Demo goes into the diamond, and he can see the small pieces that the diamond is made of as clear as day. He can even see the connections between the parts, like an intricate puzzle connected through wires and pillars that keep up the shape of the diamond. Leon looks at the diamond in Demo's hand and can sense a faint glow coming from the diamond. It's clear that Demo's focus and connection to the diamond are strong enough to resonate with the energy of the world. Now, destroy it. Demo smiles at the command given as if he had been waiting eagerly to hear the order of destruction. He charges at the small pieces in the diamond and the connections. He strikes everything that comes in his path. After a few moments, the diamond is no more as he has severed all ties and laid waste to all the pieces. He thoroughly enjoyed destroying it. Even in his imagination, he is smiling with a grin that goes from ear to ear. Leon, surprised at what he is seeing, stands there with a shocked look on his face. Open your eyes. Demo opens his eyes and looks down at his hand. The diamond is no longer there, and in its place is a swirling vortex of energy. Demo's eyes pop open with amazement and surprise, which is then quickly followed by a smile of pride as he is able to deconstruct the diamond. Due to his enjoyment and happiness, his focus lapses, and because of it, the energy that was created from the diamond dissipates. The small particles of energy seem to flow with an unseen current in the air as they evaporate into nothingness. What happened? Leon smiles. He is genuinely surprised Demo was able to do it within a day. But because he is a little unsure of Demo's character and disposition, he wants to hold back on giving him too much praise to see how he reacts to strictness first. Your focus slipped. If you lose focus, you lose all you've done. Breaking the diamond is step 1, maintaining the energy is 2, and using it to create what you want is 3. Demo looks down as if he is thinking to himself and going over his mistakes. He looks back up after a few moments with eyes determined to do better. Okay, Leon walks towards a dresser that's in the room and opens up a drawer. He takes out a rock and then places it in Demo's hand. You now know how to break it down. Now we are going to focus on keeping the energy you created calm and flowing like a small river. Why does it need to be calm? Forcing an angry beast into a cage is a lot harder than doing it with a calm one, right? True. The same principles apply here. This step is a small one compared to the other two, but it is equally important. The faster you can calm the energy, the faster you can mold it. Demo nods his head. Close your eyes. Imagine you just finished breaking down the original. Do you see all the loose pieces floating around? In Demo's imagination, he can see all the parts floating around him. It's as if he is floating in a world of debris. Visualize all the pieces coming together as one. Create a focus point for them to come to. It can be anywhere you want. Demo sees himself in the middle of all the floating pieces and holds out his hand. He keeps his gaze on his palm and tries to turn the palm of his hand into a magnet that will force all the pieces floating around to come to him. The pieces of energy around him start to vibrate as if they are enraged. Leon, sensing the tension coming from Demo, decides to help him further along. Do not force the energy to do what you want. Let it come to you naturally. Let it flow. Just be its guide. Demo, a bit confused, recognized that the pieces floating around him didn't seem as peaceful as before. Clearly, his magnet idea wasn't the right way. He then holds out both hands, and instead of focusing on his hand, he looks up at all the pieces and then looks back down in a very calm and serene way. The energy responds in kind and flows down to gather in between his two hands. Once all the pieces are between his hands, they start to flow in a very calm, circular manner. Leon realizes that Demo was able to calm down and visualize a subtle flow of energy. Now, with that energy, try to turn it into a diamond. Don't try to piece it all together like a puzzle. Just imagine the diamond as a whole and allow the pieces to fill it in for you. Demo listens to Leon and is able to make the diamond shape in his head, and just as Leon said, the energy flows into the image of the diamond, and with a bright light, it turns into a diamond. Open your eyes. Demo opens his eyes, and in his hand is a diamond. Hell yeah! Leon smiles as he tries to hide his amazement. Never before has someone so quickly been able to master this process. Leon leans forward to look Demo in the eyes, and with a serious face that almost seems threatening, he asks the question, "What are you?" Demo leans back in his chair, shock on his face at the sudden question posed by his new teacher. Demo was caught by surprise, but remained calm as he didn't feel a threat coming from Leon. "I'm Demo." Leon doesn't avert his gaze from Demo. The tension increases with each moment that passes. Leon quickly recognizes that Demo isn't fazed by the sudden question and would be pressure, so he decides to ramp it up a bit and release just a bit of bloodlust. A radiance that only primal beasts ready to devour their prey could release filled with the air. The aura of bloodlust released engulfed Demo, and Leon expected Demo to jump back and take a fighting stance. Demo's head leans forward. A grin that can only be described as evil covers his face, and the corners of his eyes start going red with a red glow. Leon stopped as he recognized that this reaction wasn't what he expected and could be dangerous to those around them. Leon then bursts out laughing. Ha 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 ha. Demo raises his head, sensing the bloodlust has passed, and looks at the old man laughing with a look of confusion. Leon looks at Demo with a big smile on his face and his arms crossed. "You would have really tried to fight me. Ha 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 ha." Demo is still confused as to what exactly happened, but before he could ask, Leon clapped his hands and looks at Demo with excitement on his face. "You are ready. Let's go see if you can join the gym." Demo and Leon walk downstairs to where all the other gym members are. They all bow to greet the master. Leon walks to the one member who greeted Demo in the beginning. 8. I want you to start Demo on the entrance course 20. 8 nods his head with a look of surprise and confusion. Yes, master. Leon turns around and places his hand on Demo's shoulder as he says his words. Make it till the end. 8 waits for Leon to walk away from Demo before he starts explaining what's going to happen. Leon leaves the main gym room and closes the door behind him as he makes his way back up to his private room. Since the master wants you to start the entrance course 20, you can use higher reasoning. Seems whatever planet you came from used a different term for it, but whatever. You will have 6 trails. Each one will last a day. If you fail any of them, you fail all of them. You understand? Demo doesn't really know what is happening, but he doesn't really feel like he can say no at this point, so he just says, yes. 8 looks at him with a look that shows no interest or trust in Demo's success. 8 then walks towards the front desk and grabs a list. He hands Demo the list. On the list are 24 items going from 1 to 24. Each item has a picture next to it of what it should look like. The items are as follows. 1. Glass cube 2. Wooden pyramid 3. Plastic sphere 4. Steel cylinder 5. Gold disc 6. Diamond knife 7. A paladin's shield 8. A wizard's staff 9. Berserk's knuckles 10. A king's cape 11. A flute. Before Demo can make it through the rest of the list, 8 places his hand on the list to stop him from reading it completely. You have 24 hours to finish this list. Start with 1 and work your way down. When you finish creating a piece, bring it to me or any other member of the gym and have them check the quality. Once they checked it, you go to the next one. Get it? Demo looks at 8 with a calm look as if he hasn't heard anything difficult so far. Yeah, I get it. 8 looks at Demo with a slight look of distrust as he thinks to himself that there is no way that Demo will pass this trail. He then goes to a display case that has a big black sphere in it. He grabs the sphere and walks back to a corner of the gym that is a bit further away from the other members. He puts the sphere down and calls Demo over. This is your material. Good luck. He walks past Demo without meeting his gaze and goes back to the rest of the members. One member walks up to 8 with his eyes wide open. Did Master Leon really give me 20? 8 looks at the member and nods. Master either hates him or expects a lot from him. Demo takes a deep breath and smiles at the challenge in front of him. He goes into the corner, looks at the picture of glass cube, then looks at the big black sphere in front of him. His face smiles with a grin of complete confidence as he places his hand on the sphere and begins to visualize breaking it down. And where Demo is in the dark of his own mind, 10 is about to arrive at his mother place of residence. He turns the last corner and there it is, a big building in the shape of a 6. On the front of the building, there is a big sign reading PI Mental Institute. As he reads the sign, a look of sadness covers his face. 10, holding the flowers, walks into the building and up to the front desk. I'm here to see my mother. Ms. Second Power X. The lady at the front desk looks surprised as this is the first time for her that 10 has come to visit her. 10 is also a bit surprised that the lady looks surprised, as if she knows exactly who he is talking about to give that kind of reaction. Do you know her? The front desk lady corrects herself in posture and gives 10 the sign-up sheet to sign in. Yeah, Mr. Second Power X visits her daily. 10 looks confused as that shouldn't be possible, but as he looks down on the sign-up sheet, he sees the first name of the man in question. The name on the sheet is 21st Second Power X, her brother. 10 signs the sheet and puts the pen down but doesn't hand it in immediately. 10 looks up from the sheet at the front desk lady, slightly baffled with a look that shows it. He visits her every day? The front takes the sheet back and answers. Every day around the same time. Thank you. 10 looks down the hallway to where the visitor's room is. He hasn't been here in many years, but nothing has changed. His hands feel clammy. It feels like there is something stuck in his throat. He can feel his heart beating like crazy. But he decided to do this, so he walked towards the visitor's door. As he stands in front of the door, ready to see his mother, this feeling of opening a door with a bad feeling in his stomach brings him back to a memory he had suppressed. He can remember going home one day after school with his mother who came to pick him up. Before going home, his mother took him to a toy store because 10 got a really good grade in math and logical reasoning. The toy he had been wanting for a while now was one of those push-a-button make-noise kind of toys. He forgot what superhero the toy was based on, but he remembers how happy he was every time he heard that toy speak. Every few seconds he would push the button, hoping for a new line to come out of the toy. His mother delighted at her son's happiness and let him push the button as many times as he wanted. The two of them got off the elevator and walked down the corridor to their door. Something suddenly made 10 feel very uncomfortable. It was as if something told him that something bad was about to happen. He looked at his mother to see if she felt it too, but she seemed okay. She used her key to open the door. The whole apartment was dark except for one desk lamp and a computer where his father was working. 10's mother looked startled and slightly frightened as she didn't expect the home to be all dark, and this was something new. 10 didn't know what to do either, but with his young mind he thought that pushing the button would make things better somehow. The moment he pushed that button and the sound came out of that toy, his father looked back at the two of them with rage in his eyes as he spoke in a low tone filled with subdued rage. "Can you two please keep it down? I need to finish this and I need silence." His mother could sense that his father was dealing with a lot of stress from his new job, so she wanted to know if she could help. "Honey, you okay?" This question was the opposite of the silence the father requested, and it was enough to make his father let go of the rage he was trying to keep down. "I told you to shut up! I'm under a lot of stress! I need to finish this by tonight, so just leave me the hell alone!" His mother felt the rage sent by the father come over her and she froze. 10 didn't know what to do, but he knew not to push that button again. The two of them stood by the door, while the father worked in the dark. 10 can still hear the ticks of his father's finger hitting the keyboard. The ticking at times still haunts him. Tick, 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 tick. Demo sits in the corner and turns the black sphere into a giant glass cube. The transformation is smooth, so smooth that it catches the eyes of some of the pupils in the gym. Once the cube is finished, he asks for it to be checked. 8, who was watching, walks over and checks the cube. He nods with a face of consignment and signals with his hand for Demo to continue. Demo starts going down the list of items he has to make at a pace that baffles all those in the gym. They are no longer doing their exercises or focusing on their breathing. Instead, they are watching Demo. After each item he clears, the murmurs and chatter increase. He has to be cheating. Is someone helping him? There is no way this is real. Once Demo got to the end of the list, and the item was checked, 8 stood there with a blank look on his face as if he had just seen a miracle. Demo, confused at all the confusion surrounding him, decided to ask 8 what the problem was. "Why is everyone looking at me?" 8 looked at him with a face that showed he was unsure whether to revere or hate Demo. He opens his mouth to speak, but nothing comes out. Demo looks at him as if he is still waiting for the answer. 8 finally gathers his thoughts and answers. Every time you turn something into something else, a little bit of the original is lost in translation. If the sphere was 100, then the glass cube would be 90. A copy or a remake is never as good as the original, but yours were equal to, if not better. Demo looks slightly surprised as his eyebrows go up. "I just did what the old man told me to do." 8 looks at Demo with an expression that is both bewilderment and surprise. The last step is to turn it back into a black sphere. Demo nods and places his hand on the item and turns it into a sphere. Once completed, the sphere is the exact size and smoothness as the one Demo started with. 8 looks at the sphere with his mouth open. This has never happened to him before. The rest of the pupils all talk amongst each other as they also can't believe it. 8 looks at Demo and closes his mouth. "Okay, you finished your first test early. Are you ready for the final part?" Demo smiles and with an enthusiastic face he replies, Yes. 8 turns around and gestures with his head for Demo to follow him. They walk to the center of the gym, and then 8 points down and lowers his head to signal Demo to stand right there. Then 8 looks around and points at 5 random pupils. The 5 chosen ones line up side to side in front of Demo and smile with an almost evil grin. 8 moves so that he is standing in front of Demo in front of the 5 pupils. The last stage of the first trial for XX is simple. You will match the power of each pupil. They will punch you, and then you reply with the same amount of force. Each pupil will punch you 5 times. Demo's eyes light up as his smile goes from ear to ear. His smile can be seen through his mask, and it kind of creeps a few of the pupils out. But the first pupil is ready to punch Demo and steps forward. He was also impressed by the ability shown by Demo. But he never liked people who stood out more than him, and he figures that if he punches Demo out cold, his position in the mind of others will rise. Demo stands still waiting for the pupil's punch. The pupil takes a martial arts-trained fighting stance. He then keeps his pose still as he starts whispering a math chant. 8 quickly recognizes the pupil's intent and goes to stop him. But the pupil used a chant that was only meant to strengthen his fist and kinetic energy, which means it was concluded quickly. Demo can sense the bloodlust coming from the pupil's fist, and his eyes start to glow red. In the few moments before 8 can reach the pupil, he releases the pent-up energy and punches Demo in the stomach. An explosion of energy bursts forth and causes a sound wave to reverberate in the gym. The force of the punch was enough to knock Demo back and force him to kneel on one leg, his head down. The pupil looking at Demo's position looks down on him with a smile as if he succeeded in bringing him down a peg. He knows that this punch is one that can destroy internal organs and put even the strongest man into a coma. There is no way Demo will be able to do anything for at least a year. The pupil then looks around to see what the other students are looking like. Their faces are stunned and their eyes wide open. The pupil then sees a certain amount of fear in their faces, which is weird because it should be reverence. But then he hears Demo's voice. That hurt. He quickly turns his head back to Demo. He is just in time to see Demo stand up fully erect with glowing red eyes and a smile on his face. He immediately breaks into a cold sweat. Demo cracks his neck and takes a step towards the pupil as he looks him dead in the eye. My turn. The pupil doesn't understand what is happening, but he can sense an insane amount of bloodlust coming from Demo. Fear grips his very soul as he becomes unable to move. Wah. Wait. 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 No. No, no. Demo takes another step forward. With each step, the pressure on the pupil increases. It's as if death itself is walking towards him. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I mean, look. Demo takes another step, and the pupil now breaks down. Tears start flowing down his cheek. His entire body starts shaking. A cold chill runs down his spine as Demo is now but one step away from him. And then Demo takes the final step. Demo slightly tilts his head. Ready? The pupils in what can only be described as a begging tone whispers. No! Demo takes a similar punching pose to the one the pupil took. 8 looks in sheer horror as he knows he is unable to stop this, and the test requires Demo to reply in kind. Demo doesn't say a chant, instead he simply smiles and releases his punch. The pupil sees his life flash before him. The punch connects, and an explosion is multiple times bigger than the first one. The sound wave is so big it can be heard on the edges of the city. As if a plane went through the sound barrier, the sheer force of the punch not only pushes the pupil back, but sends him flying. He flies past the other 4 pupils waiting for their turn, and then crashes through the wall behind them. The dust cloud covers the gym, and everyone in there stands motionless, as if they just saw a predator, and their instinct was to play possum. The remaining 4 pupils are covered in a cold sweat with their eyes wide open. 8 keeps looking back and forth between Demo and the hole in the wall he just created by sending someone through a wall. No one says a word as the dust settles. Everyone is now clearly aware that Demo isn't normal. As the dust clears, Demo is standing in the spot 8 told him to stand. He is smiling with an innocent face as if he did nothing wrong as he asks, "Next?" The 4 remaining pupils look at each other nervously. Then 8 breaks the silence as he points at 6 different gym members. "Go help him!" The 6 members then ran outside to help the pupil who was sent flying. 8 then walks up to the 4 remaining pupils and in a whispering tone he advises them, "Do not use any force or power. Just touch him with your pinky finger." The first one that is next up takes a gulp of fear as he walks towards Demo. Demo looks at him trying to see if there is any bloodlust coming from him, but he can't sense anything. The pupil doesn't say anything and simply touches Demo with his pinky finger. Demo looks down a bit confused, but he knows he just has to match what he felt. So he goes to touch the pupil with his pinky finger as well. But he moved his arm a little too fast, and the force that was put into it was a bit too much for the pupil. His body folded, all the food he ate last week came out, and he flew backward. He didn't go through the wall, but he hit it really hard. The remaining 3 pupils now have tears in their eyes. They can't back down because they are members of the gym, but this is way more than they signed up for. 8 is now thoroughly confused at what he is witnessing. And again, in a low voice, he advises them, "Do not touch him. Just get close enough to make it look like you touched him. All 3 of you go and let's end it here." The 3 pupils nervously walk towards Demo. Demo calmly looks at all 3 of them and awaits their move. They all bring forth their pinky fingers and stop centimeters away from Demo. Demo looks at their fingers not touching him and smiles. He then does the exact same in a very slow and calm manner. His pinky finger stops centimeters away from the pupils. They repeat this process 4 more times. After the last time, Demo nearly touches them. The 4 pupils fall down as if they just played Russian roulette and survived. 8 walks towards Demo and stands in front of him. He looks at Demo with sheer confusion and amazement. "You're done for today." Demo smiles. "Thank you. I look forward to tomorrow." Ten stands in front of the visitor's door. He takes a deep breath, opens the door, and looks inside. There he sees his uncle's face sitting across from a woman with her back to 10. His uncle looks up as he does the customary check to see who just came in. Their eyes meet for a fraction of a second, but then the uncle's attention is back on the woman in front of him. But then suddenly his eyes open up wide as if he just had a startling revelation. He looks back at 10, and under his breath he says his name. "10?" The woman doesn't move a muscle, but 21 gets up and walks towards 10. Without any hesitation, he hugs 10. "I haven't seen you in years. How you been?" 10 doesn't hug 21 back. He is allowing the hug as his grip on the bouquet tightens. After a few moments, 21 realizes that 10 isn't hugging him back and lets him go. "You okay?" 10 looks at his uncle and nods. "I'm okay." His uncle is a little befuddled as to why his nephew is acting so distant, but knows better than to pry because 10 has been through a lot. "You finally came to visit your mother, huh? She is going to be so happy." 10 looks down at the ground as his guilt for not visiting his mother hits him harder than the uncle intended. Recognizing that 10 is a little distraught over meeting his mother after all this time, takes a step back and moves out of his way. "I'm going to go get something to eat. Give you guys some privacy." 10 looks at his uncle and nods with a forced smile. "Thank you." 21 walks out of the room, but before he closes the door behind him, he takes one look back as he sees 10 standing in front of his mother. 10 looks down at her. Her eyes glazed over. Her stare was blank, her lips slightly open but not a promise of any words spoken. Her look and absence of mind are the exact same as he remembers. He sits down across from her. Her gaze is unchanged as her son, who she hadn't seen in years, was in front of her again. 10's face distorts slightly as his mind can't help but recollect memories he wished he had forgotten. The one that stuck with him was a few weeks after the writing incident with his father. Unbeknownst to 10, his father was given a special assignment by his new company to fully analyze a new kind of material that was recently discovered. He was given strict directions to not use higher reasoning on the material to ensure its integrity. 10 just finished school and completely forgot about the writing incident. He had just learned higher reasoning and was able to turn rocks into glass. He was one of the fastest learners in his class. He wanted to share his achievements with his parents, so he rushed home to tell them. He opens the door to the apartment and rushes in with all the happiness he can muster. "Mom, Dad, look, I made this using HR." His mother just happened to pass by as she was about to hang up some laundry. She smiled at 10, happy to see her son so happy. She put the laundry basket down and smiled like a proud mom. "That's amazing. How many tries did it take you?" "Only 3. It took others like 8 tries. "Aren't you just a little genius?" 10 smiles from ear to ear as the praise and acknowledgement made him happy. His dad was in the middle of analyzing the rock, and 10's sudden burst made him lose focus. But his wife asked him to please control his temper with 10, because he really scared her with the writing incident. So his father took a deep breath and pushed his anger down. He tried to hide the look of rage from his eyes as he forced a fake smile. He puts the rock down on the table and then looks at 10 and compliments him. "That's great, 10. Hearing his father compliment him made him a bit more excited. He walks up to his father to give him the news. "Yeah, and like I was super fast with turning the rock into glass. I'll show you." Before 10 finishes his sentence, he has turned around to face the rock on the table. It took his dad a few moments to realize what his son was about to do. Before his dad was able to properly react, 10's hand touched the rock. His dad yelled, "Stop!" But it was already too late. 10 had already started the math chant, and his focus was so deep he didn't hear his father's scream. In just a moment, the rock started lighting up. But because it wasn't a normal rock, its structure and composition was different. Because of this difference, 10 wasn't able to actually transform the rock into anything. As his attempt failed, he took his hand off the rock and looked at it a bit confused. "This rock is weird. Why in—" Before 10 could finish his sentence, he was hit across the face very hard. His tiny body flew across the room as his father just hit him the same way an adult in a fight would be hit. His mother saw the hit and froze. She didn't say a word, not move a muscle. She stood there frozen as his son was lying on the floor bleeding. 10, barely conscious, holds his cheek as blood flows from his mouth. Crying and in complete confusion, he looks at his father. "Why?" His father standing over the rock inspecting it, then turns to his son with nothing but rage and disgust in his eyes. "What have you done? You just ruined everything!" Without saying another word, his father took the rock and rushed into a different room, and slammed the door behind him. 10 was still lying on the ground. He looked at his mother for help, but she just stood there staring into nothingness. He decides to call for her because he needs her help. "Mom?" But there is no reply. "Mom!" Still no response. That is where his recollection ends. He looks up at the ceiling in front of his mother as if to stop the tears from flowing down. A few seconds pass as he regains his composure. He looks back at his mother. He places the bouquet in her lap. "These are for you." There is no response from his mother. But 10 expected that, so he kept on talking. "I went to that peak you love yesterday. The view has gotten even better than before. The forest is like a sea of green. It's nice." His voice lowers as he speaks the last few words. Acting like everything is normal and good between them is a bit too much for him. He wants to scream at her and cuss her out, but this isn't the time or place for that. Instead, he just looks at her for a few more moments in silence. He then stands up with his head down. Without saying a word, he walks past her toward the door, and without looking back, he walks out of the visitor's room. Once he is outside, he sees 21. He is waiting for him. 10, let's go grab something to eat." As the tears roll down Ten's face, he nods and with a broken voice he answers, "Okay."